This is the video for the Try It section of Lesson 9, Repeating Actions with Loops. This example demonstrates how to write a for next loop that adds 12 worksheets to your workbook while naming each worksheet in turn by calendar month. So here I'm starting with just sheet 1. There can be more sheets in your workbook when you run this macro, that's fine. However many worksheets you have, 12 more worksheets will be added. The first one to the right of whichever your last worksheet is will be named January, and then February, and then March, and so on. This will work in any version of Excel you're using. To get started, go to the Visual Basic Editor by pressing the Alt F11 keys, and from the VBE menu bar, click Insert, Module, and type in the name of your macro, which for this example is going to be called Loop 12 Months. When you press the Enter key, VBA places the end subline in there for you with the cursor blinking in an empty row, ready for you to enter your code. I'm going to press the Enter key a few times just to give us enough room to write the code that we'll be using. Before you write any code, you already know two things. You know you'll be cycling through a process of adding and naming a worksheet for each calendar month, and because you know there are 12 months in a year, you know there will be exactly 12 cycles starting at month 1, January, and ending at month 12, December. Therefore, to represent the numbers 1 through 12, you'd want to assign an integer type variable. It's a good idea to give your variables a meaningful name, so seeing as this will be an integer type variable, and the primary theme of the loop is naming worksheets by month, go ahead and name the variable int month. You always start with the dim statement, and it will be declared as the integer type. Press Enter. The next step is to open the for next loop with the for statement, and since your numbers are going from 1 to 12, you can write the for statement simply as for int month, that's your variable, equals 1 to 12, and press Enter. Now all that's left is to tell VBA what you wanted to do 12 times in succession. Once again, you're adding 12 worksheets and naming each one by month, starting with January and then February and so on. It turns out you can actually accomplish this with one line of code. Sheets.add adds a worksheet, and you can click the character to open the parentheses and invoke the Sheets.adds after argument. And what you want to do is to add each worksheet in turn by calendar month, reading from left to right. So that is why we are saying that every sheet that gets added will be after however many worksheets there are. And to say that, you need to say that this new worksheet will go after the sheet that is equal to the sheets.count index. So if you have 12 worksheets, for example, or 14 or 18 worksheets, or just one as I have, sheets.count will know what that number is. It'll know what that sheet is, and then it'll add a worksheet and place it after that last sheet. I'm going to press the period or dot key there and enter the word name, because you can name the worksheet right here on this same code line, pressing the space bar, the equal sign, and for readability's sake I'm going to enter the line underscore continuation character and press the Enter key. A good way to produce 12 months in a loop sequence is to use the date serial statement, which, just like the date worksheet function, uses 3 arguments of year, month, and day. Because month names are the same regardless of the year, you could hard enter any year, and then because you declare the int month variable as an integer type, it's a perfect match for the numeric requirement of the month number. So, because I'm entering this in the year 2011, this is just as good a year as any. There is your year portion of the date serial function. I'm going to click the space bar and plug in the int month variable name here because we're cycling from 1 to 12. Every month has a day 1 to it, so the number 1 is also as good as any, and there is your date serial function that names each worksheet's tab by calendar month. Now, as it is here, what you'll end up with is a series of digits on your worksheet. You want to format, for readability's sake, the date serial to be the long type, January, February, etc. And to do that, you'll format this date serial function with the long MMMM format style. Press enter and end your loop with the next statement. And there is your macro that loops 12 times from the number 1 to the number 12, representing the months of the year that will name each worksheet in turn. I'm going to press Alt-Q to go back to the worksheet, and then Alt-F8 to call the macro dialog box and test our code. Right here is the loop 12 months macro that, when I click run, is supposed to enter 12 worksheets here, January through December. And so to test it, just select it as it has already been done and click the run button. And there, very quickly produced by the loop, are the months January through December. And that's what a loop can do for you. It can save you a lot of time by cycling through numbers such as this. And there's a whole lot more that loops can do that you will see from the text in this lesson and also elsewhere in the book and through your own VBA trebles. They're a very useful tool in VBA.